Hello, I am Observer. Thank you for watching my video. Just a little bit of information before we get started. This video is part of a series, so if you want to watch the rest of the videos, more tutorials of ArcheAge, head over to the description of this video. There's a link to the playlist. Simple as that. Also, if you want to join our guild in this game or other games, we play together in MMOs generally, but also we try to find time to play a little 4, 6, 10 co-op games together, those kind of things. Go to obzzarvatory.com and sign up there, and get to know us on Twitch TV/Obzzarver. The only rule for the guild or the multigaming community is no drama. Don't be a dick. That's it. Thank you. See you there. Farming, gathering, livestock, things. These are all things that you can do in ArcheAge. This is one of the most interesting aspects of it, and this video will explain a bit on how you do it, what you should look out for, how you should. Anyways, it will talk about the farming and gathering and stuff. Yeah, all right. So what I'm running through right here now is, like, here you can see some of the things. These are cows, sick cows, mind you, but still cows. So the main three categories. Oh my God, it's lagging. The main three categories of farming is the livestock part. It has to do with animals. Then there is growing various kinds of flowers, goes under gathering. Not necessarily just flowers, but like wheat and stuff like we have here. And then you have trees, logging and such, and we can put such things as mining iron and stuff. Oh my God, there's a lot of chickens over here. Holy crap. Yeah, but these are some of the things you can do. This is just ridiculous, though. This is entirely pointless. Anyways, let's look at how you get started with this, alright? So these things we're looking at here, scarecrows. This is the one you start off with. The size is indicated by the amount of plants here. This is about the space you have with a starting farm. You get one of these, the little scarecrows, then you can advance to a larger scarecrow garden, which is this, indicated by the area of these yatas. And then finally you can have different kind of houses. Farming houses are regular houses. You can see they have a little bit of farming space around them. Farming house obviously has more space around them. We can find one of those. There we are. Okay, so that's the farming house. A little bit more space around it compared to the size of the house. You can see pretty much the outline of the different things this person is growing around here. Obviously any kind of house you can grow things on. But again, back to where we get started with farming. So, and once the lag disappears, thank you Fraps, around level 9 or 10 or 11 or thereabouts, you should find an NPC from the Blue Salt Brotherhood that has this little icon above its head, like this vegetable looking thing. Do that quest, and then more quests will... Never mind the flickering things in the background. There's a bug that I have. You won't have it, probably. Do that quest, and it will take you on to... It will teach you how to do basic farming. It will show you how to plant some chickens and some vegetables and everything in this public farm. This is important to note. There are a few public farms. They have limitations to what you can plant in them, but they are a good place to start off. If you start off late, there might be a little bit of space issues when it comes to planting your own farms. But this will, in addition to teaching you how to do the basic planting and everything, it will also give you your first 8x8 farm and advance you through a quest line, teaching you, amongst other things, about trade runs. It will also give you the 16x16 farm. This is the only way to get it. It will also give you a donkey eventually. And this is a subject for the trade runs and economy video. But do this. Like, when you get here, you might get stuck a little bit. You don't know what to do. You may want to just go ahead and level a bit more, come back later. Don't do that. This should be done as soon as possible. One of the very important things to get started with as soon as possible, so you can plunk down your little starting farm and get working on the next things. Because the one thing about farming is it takes a while to grow. So you want to get started with it as fast as you can. So where can you plant these farms once you get them? Let's have a look at the map here. Obviously this is a bit small, so I apologize for that in advance. But I'm in this zone now, Let's say that I want to have a look at... First of all, let's uncheck everything on the map here. There's a few important things. Right here where I have my farm, you can see here my garden is selected on the map here. My house is in a different zone. This is not a zone that is marked on the map as being for houses or farms. This is something you will look at when you look at housing in general. There are some hidden areas where you can plant. Like, you can't just plonk down your house or farm spot anywhere on the map. But there are certain areas that are dedicated to it. Some of them are marked on the map, some are not. So you can find a bunch that isn't. Like, this one was discovered pretty late, and this one can only hold the large farms. The only way to know this is by going there and testing, basically. There are some that are marked that can take smaller farms. For example, if you tick public farms, no, not public farms, let's see. Bear with me, housing province. And uncheck all, and we put general housing. You can see this popping in and out on the map. This is for any kind of house. You see a mouse over it, says these plots are zoned for any type of house or field. So you can plant little farms there, or fields, but they will generally fill up quite fast. Then you have aqua farms, which obviously there isn't any of in this zone. Those are near the coast, and those are a special type of farm that you don't actually get those from a quest. You have to go to Mirage Island and buy them for a special kind of currency. We'll go through that particular currency more in the other video that is about trade runs. Never mind those. They're not that interesting. They're used for growing sea stuff. So now you know. That's all I'm going to talk about the aqua farms. Luxury housing zone, not important for us. Scarecrow farm zone. Let's see. None specified on this map. Yeah, there we are. There's one. Then we have thatched farmhouse zones. There's none on this map. These are the farmhouses we were looking at before. Those are kind of valuable. They are special. They have a lot more farming space around them than a normal house does. And usually where you can put those, you can only put those. So they will be scarce, those areas. Scarecrow garden. This is a temporary area. So the ones you can put down here, you can only keep them there in the beginning. The good thing about this is that there will always be room here, because they only last for 7 days. So if you're getting started, you can always plonk it down there, getting your stuff built, like farming some carrots and whatever, just in the very beginning for your farming quests, and then put that or take that farm back up again. If your farm, if it expires, like if you don't pay the rent on it, it's the same as with houses. You have to pay a weekly tax. I'll show you that in a second. If you don't do that, it will expire and it will be sent back to you in the mail. And then marine housing, which is something different. So these are the ones that you can place down. Now public farms is something you should also be aware of. Public farms, tick that up here. You can see there's a couple over here. Zoom in. It says 2 public farms. Let's go visit them. Alright, so here we have a public farm. Go away, elk. So when you find one of these on the map, you have a public farm manager that does nothing. There's a sign. It says, this land is meant for growing crops. Potato, cucumber, carrot, onion, barley, rice plant, and chickens. Items here will be protected for only 24 hours. That's the thing with public farms. They will be safe for 24 hours, but only 24 hours. After that, they're free to steal. You can plant things anywhere, really. Like if I wanted to plant a cow, if you can say that, if I wanted to place that here, I could. But anyone can come and uproot it. Anyone can steal it right away. You see here, someone has planted stuff outside. Actually, this actually is not considered outside. This one is. And I can steal it, so I will. Dunk. Now when you steal stuff, and this goes to the crime system, and I'll talk about that later, but basically For anyone but me, I will have left footprints that people can report, and we'll talk about that in a video about crime. So basically, look up these public farms for two purposes. One, if you don't have your farm of your own yet, if you're trying to produce more than your little farm can hold in the very beginning. Or two, if you just want to basically make the very, very most of your time by... well, that's a farm vehicle, by the way. We'll show you that afterwards. By planting as much as you can. But be aware, like the high-level stuff, like the expensive and big stuff, the things that take a long time to grow or is more advanced, so to say, cannot be planted in public farms. Generally, public farms are of two types. There are the vegetable ones, three types actually. The vegetable ones, or like seeds and stuff like that. There's the animal ones, and there's a public tree farm as well. There's only one per continent. I'll show you one. The reason, by the way, I'm not giving exact numbers here or like exact types of plants and everything that you can plant in each of them is because it is alpha and things may and will change. So I'll leave that up to you to check out. There should be some exploration left to the game, but these will be more general info that you get from me in this video. As a side note, right now I'm in between zones, so to say. Generally, people tend to build what is called rogue tree farms up here, which is basically what I told you before. You can plant stuff anywhere. If you're going to do that, because you don't have enough room on your farm, you want to plant more trees, come back and collect them. Be aware that trees generally take between 8 hours and 3 days, 4 days, some of them, to plant. One place I always see them, and they always get stolen because people think they're smart, is up here, in these barren areas up here. If you're going to do that, plant them amongst other trees where they look less suspicious. Because you can't log any tree. There's only certain trees that you can log, and you can be lucky, you can run around and you will have one of those little wheel icons spin up here in front of a tree, and that means you can log it. If it's not finished, you might not get logs from it, or maybe only the sapling, maybe absolutely nothing. But there are also like people that make it their profession to glide around on the map and find those tree farms. So it generally does not pay off. But if you want to, there is maps, and they're all available on Obzzarvatory.com, where you can where you can find out like small maps of where the most populated, actually publicly available trees are found. All right. Let's have a look at the public tree farm where it's actually protected for some time. Spawning in front of me in the zone White Arden, pretty much far north in White Arden, is a public tree farm. And you can see there's a lot of trees there. It's not very well spawned from a distance yet. I have very low graphic settings because fraps. But yeah, this is one of them. Trees planted here are protected as well, 24 hours, like the other tree farm or the other public farms. There's only a limited amount and limited type of trees that you can plant here. But I do advise that you really use it, because actually I'll show you that. I don't know where the one on the east continent is, to be honest, because I haven't again played much east. But this one is in White Arden. I'll show you on the map. Up here. Black main base camp, pretty much all the way north in White Arden. Get there as soon as you can with your little lobby character, or maybe just place an alt there and pick up those trees. But don't. Okay. So like with the other public farms, there's a little board. Land meant for growing trees: grapevine, fig tree, apple tree, lemon tree, hornbeam tree, and avocado tree. There's no question about it. You can have 5 of them. And there's no question about it, pick the hornbeam tree, because, let me show you, there's a sapling merchant right next to here, hornbeam, get one of these. You can also get like an apple one, just to show you. Alright, so in the public farm, it will look very, very full, but trust me, there's always room. There's always room here somewhere. You might have to work on it for a bit to get all your trees in one spot, or a spot that you can find again later. But there's always room. So what I usually do is I start planting as close to a fence or something landscape easily remembered landscape as I can, and then as people forget to pick up their trees within 24 hours and they disappear or I steal them, I move them closer to the fence or something where it's easier to find. Alright, so let's start with the apple tree. It's this big. There we go. Now let's have a look at the hornbeam tree. It's this big. Now this would be ridiculously big for your own farm. It would be inefficient to place this big of a tree on your own farm. But here, you're not limited by space. You're only limited by time and amount. So place the biggest ones. These grow up to give you a lot of things. Some rare bark that is used for trade runs. And a lot of logs. And you can have 5 trees total up here. Now one thing you want to know when you use these public farms, especially as big as this one is, where do I find them again later? They're hard to find in here. So you can go to, let's see if I can find that. Not that one. Right, P. The letter P for Peter. Public nursery tab. And you can see here what I have planted in the public nursery. I can also click on the map next to my hornbeam sapling and it will show me on the map approximately where it is. So that's very useful. Use that. Okay, so we're down here by our guild house, or more commonly referred to as my house. So these are mostly disappeared trees, but I have some left. These trees here have been growing for a while. This one I've healed. They usually have a timer on it. It says like, because I healed these, so when they grow old you can mend them sort of to make them last longer, or you can just chop them down. In this case, these are pine trees. They take a long time to grow. I generally grow these to save my labor. If I'm running out of labor. And we haven't talked about labor yet, so let's do that. You can also climb them. Oh. Which is not really that fun. Come on! Alright. This can be used though to get into like hidden locations in your loft and such. This can give you some pine cones, obviously, as rare drops. But the big thing about these, and this might be entirely my speculation, is that one of the most rare and valuable items in the game, and you'll know why later on, by far, is thunderstruck logs. And thunderstruck logs are something that happens entirely randomly, apparently mostly based on whether or not your farm is near a coast or something. On islands in the ocean is more common, in the northern continent is even more common than other continents, but islands being generally considered the best place to grow them. It can happen during the second growth stage of a tree. And we found one.
I can confirm, well don't forget, I'm not sure your logging's going to make any difference, but don't forget it's a pick up, isn't it?
Oh crap, yeah that's true.
It's not a logging, but try it anyway.
Look at that. Ah.
Pitiful looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not going to matter my logging skill.
To quote Boromir, to think we have suffered so much hate and worry over such small a thing.
Alright, let's see. I need a close-up of this.
Get 1,000 Gilder stars and get
The
yourself
most valuable item in the game.
Absolutely, isn't it?
Well,
It is,
until
really.
they put in something that requires 10 thunderstruck trees.
Okay, my lovely guildies, I've got 1,300 labour. Who wants it?
I want this tree, that's all I want. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, pick up.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't work. No.
Actually,
I
yeah, I got some
I did
stone
get a
you might
thunderstruck tree, but the
process.
thing is still here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
it's a
Where do
spine
you wanna
tree.
meet?
It's interesting.
Oh no, this is great.
Oh,
I'm in Hell Swamp at the moment, leveling.
I might
but-
just mail it to you, and you can do it at your convenience. It's only about 30 blocks.
Okay.
So
Congrats,
let's
Bob.
see.
Thank you. And it was a great celebration. The reason it's a great celebration is because they, well in Alpha they've been going for like 350 gold on generally, because they're used for some machines and they're quite rare and everyone wants them. Right. Pines in my opinion, that's where I gotten mine from. That's where some friend of mine have gotten theirs from. It seems to be where you generally have the best chance of succeeding with it. I'm not sure if that is true, but it seems that way. Over to something else. These are garlic bundles. I'm not going to go through planting regular seeds because it's basically a seed and you plant it and it grows up and it says the time on it. You can figure it out. Bundles, very useful. Let's have a look at stats here. Bundles are something we create using a different mechanic. You have something called a farmer's workstation. Farmer's workstation can be used to create bundles, and bundles give you garlic. In this case, it's a garlic bundle, and bait worms. And bait worms are used for fishing and very valuable in the auction house or for yourself if you want to do fishing. I'll show you how to make bundles. Oh, before we do though, let's put these chickens out of their misery. Well, I could feed them first. If I feed this is a chicken coop. You can also make that. That's a crafting thing. Now I can either collect eggs or poor chickens. For the chicken coop, once you've crafted it, and you can find out where to craft things by pressing O for the folio, and you can look up where to craft different things. Now, you have to repair it usually with some bamboo sticks. You need to have bamboo in your inventory. There we go. And you have to go buy some more chickens. Chickens and livestock and such are sold pretty much everywhere. You can find it under the merchants menu on the map. And you can find, let's see here, saplings, seeds, and livestock. Those are the ones we want. And obviously I have to tick this one, and you can see here, 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 here. Many places on each map that you find them usually. Alright, so here we have the livestock merchant. That's a little example of what you can buy. Cows, lambs, chickens, piglets, ducklings, gooseling, goat, kids, turkey, chick, water buffalo calf, cashmere yata calf, and blizzard cub. These are polar bears basically. I have a little yata growing business up in my own farm, so we'll take a look at that later. I'm not going to buy any more. Well, I'm actually going to buy chickens. I need 5 for the chicken coop. The reason I'm getting a chicken coop is because as opposed to just regular chickens planted in the wild or on your farm on the ground, chicken coops produce raw chicken and chicken meat. The chicken meat is pretty much useless. No one uses it. You can just vendor it basically. But the raw chicken is used for something else that we're going to have a look at shortly. Now, the other merchant that you can find is the sapling merchant, where you can find all the different trees that we saw before. There's more of them here than it is in the public tree farm ones. So here you can also find the ones you can plant in the underwater farm. That's what I wouldn't talk about anymore, but corals is basically corals and oysters and such is things that you grow in the underwater farms. Seeds is all kind of corn, barley, peanuts, strawberries, cotton, potato dyes. Cotton, good tip, do cotton bundles. The reason you do cotton bundles is, this is another thing, I'm realizing it's a bit rambly and not really coherent, this tutorial, but bear with me. Cotton, when you make it into bundles and you harvest it, first of all you get cotton that can be turned into cloth. You also get worms that can be used for fishing. This is an important lesson. This is something you should always do when you're planning out what you're farming. So, you turn the cotton into cloth. You use the worm to fish. When you do fishing, and we'll do a fishing video too, don't worry, check the playlist. When you do fishing, you can get some lock boxes that contain rare items that are used for crafting, for example, armors. And the cloth that you produce is also used for crafting armor. So that way you basically use the one thing that you produce to make everything that you need for that. That's the whole, what's it called, production line thing here. So it's hard to this is just a simple tip. Cotton is used for fishing for one part of the armor and the cloth for the other part of the armor. And well, you need some alchemy stuff for most armor too, but it's just a general tip. You'll have to play it a bit until you to get to know all of these specific production lines. Or come over to our website and we'll share some tips with you. I'm actually going to grab a few, well, might as well do cotton, I guess. You can shift click to set the amount that you want to produce or want to buy 100 there. I'm pretty full here. I'm going to sell this crappy chicken meat, get some room, and let's go back to the house. Okay, so to refill my chicken coop, I need to have some barley in my inventory and the 5 chickens. There we go. Ah. There are many things like this that isn't just ordinary farming. These are, for example, beehives. You can have beehives that produce honey. You can then have something that matures the honey, some larders. You can have larders for cheese as well. There are many things you can do. You have to have the farmer's workstation about it. And I've been talking about this farmer's workstation for a while, so let's go have a look at it, okay? This is the farmer's workstation. No, not this one, but on top here. Most people, except Furco in the guild, save space by planting it on top of the head of the scarecrow farm. You can plan it at your house too. The thing with the farmer's workstation is that it requires your small farm as an ingredient to make it. So you basically can't make it until you have a large farm or a house. You have to uproot your small farm and use it to make the farmer's workstation. The things you can do in the farmer's workstation is under husbandry. You can make combined feed, which is what I use to feed my yatas here and other animals. Livestock supplement, which is used when they are sick to heal them. Pet dual recovery potion, which is something you use when you're running around with your pet or mount in combat. Honey larders, which is used to transforming honey or aging it into prosperous honey and other items such as that. It takes forever. Cheese larder, same thing with cheese. Herb larder, same thing with herbs, make it into dried herbs. 5 days it takes. That's under husbandry. Oh, by the way, on these things, by the way. So, as I showed you before, press O for folio to get a full overview of the things you can make and what it requires. You can click on each thing to see, or if it's a complicated recipe, you can click on each thing to see everything that it requires. So everything that has to do with farming is basically under gathering, farming, and husbandry. And in some cases, well, masonry if you go for mining nodes, but you all know what nodes look like. I showed you in another video. You go check that one if you don't know. So other things that you have to have the farmer's workstation to do is under farming, farm tools, eco-friendly fuel. I'll show you that in a second. Bundles. The most important thing is bundles. You can see here a total list of what kind of vegetables that you can make into bundles. So if I were to plant a regular piece of, what did I buy here before? Cotton. I could plant cotton here. I have a little bit of space. Cotton. It'll take 2 hours 23 seconds. I can water it. It'll take a bit away of the time. Not much though. But I don't want that cotton. It will make a very few cotton. When you operate it like this, you might get some of it back, but usually only get the XP. Now, if I take it to the farmer's workstation, gathering seed bundles, cotton seed bundles. For every 10 cotton that I have, I can make a cotton seed bundle, which will produce the same amount, take a little less space. We'll just do one here. There we go, cotton seed bundle acquired. And it takes more space like this, but it prevents you from having to plant like 500 cottons individually here, and it produces worms. So bundles are the only way to get worms. So the only way to get worms is by having a farmer's workstation. The only way to have a farmer's workstation is by eating your small farm, putting it on a big farm. Alright, follow the logic here. Other things... Oh, that was pretty much it, actually. For that, there's another thing, quest. It has a quest. This you should always do, always do. Start making the following things. The chicken coop. The reason I have the chicken coop that I showed before is because I want raw chicken. Always grow a little bit of cultivated ginseng. They are expensive, they take 24 hours to grow, they don't take much space, they can't be bundled, but make them. Another thing, garlic and rice. When you have all of these ingredients and you do have a farmer's workstation, you can craft them into this. Tick, 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 almost done. There we go. A hearty meal. It's a quest launcher. We have it here. You right click it. Start your quest. And that quest actually takes you to your local auctioneer. You can find every auctioneer near one of these teleport things, the Mirage Island portals. Alright, so you just turn that pack into this guy and you get an archaic coins container and 5 gold. And vocation badges. So the 5 gold is nice, and the archaic coins container will give you some rare currency or rare items, Gilda stars for example, which is also important, but we're not going through currencies in this video. Alright, a little fun thing. So if I were to plant a whole bunch of these little cotton plants here, let me do that. Alright, that's enough. So I could water each of them individually, which will take forever. Or, and here's where the thunderstruck log comes in, if you are really rich and really awesome, we'll have one of these. Ta-da! Alright, so this is mostly used for transportation of goods, but it can also be used for watering things. And it'll water a whole area for you. Very practical. You can also use it to get water out of wells at a faster pace. So one thing we haven't talked about much is labor points. You see down here is labor points. I currently have 4,733 out of 5,000. And it regenerates at 5 labor every 5 minutes regardless of connection status. That is an alpha thing. That will not be the case on release. So we haven't talked about like the subscription models or the similar things to subscription. There isn't actually a subscription, but you can get a patron status, which gives you some advantages. One of which is you can have a larger labor pool. What do you use labor pool for? Well, if I want to feed my yata here, I spend 3 labor and 1 combined feed. And I make the combined feed in the farmer's workstation. There we go. That spends labor, and depending on how much labor I spend, that's the XP I get basically. This yata is hungry. So I thought she was sick, but she was only hungry. So I have to feed her twice. I have to be careful feeding them. I can also slaughter them, but I don't want to do that right now. So labor is used for anything that has to do with crafting, trade packs, or farming. Anything. So if you run out of labor points, you can't do anything. Logging, mining, everything. All of it uses labor points. Oh, this one seems to be... What's the timer on this? Not paid, amount due, 3 gold. Runs out in... Well, 7 days, okay. Farming space is a scarce resource in alpha. So we're always looking for things that are about to fall apart. This guy hasn't paid his taxes for a while. So labor points, the thing with labor points, the more you use of them, the more you get of them. So I've maxed out mine. I have 5,000. You start off with only a little bit. And when you use it, you max out your total. And as it regains, you'll have more the next day. What you have to keep in mind is, as far as I've read at least, on release, it will be a maximum of 2,000 labor points when you max it out for people that doesn't or hasn't gotten the, what did I call it? The patron status, which is basically like a mini subscription. And they will also regain labor slower or not at all when they're offline, which kind of sucks, to be honest. For patrons, you will regain, but at a slower rate when you're offline. And you will have a maximum of 5,000 labor points. It's very useful. It's a very good way to level, as I demonstrated or showed you guys a little bit of in the leveling and skill set videos. Let's have a look at these yatas. What can we do with them? Like most animals, they have multiple options. I could shear it, which I'm going to do now. And you should only do that after you've fed them. Actually, you can only do that after you've fed them. Before I feed them, I can slaughter it. I can also slaughter it afterwards. Here's why you shouldn't. When I shear them, I get yata fur. I can sell the yata fur, I can use it for crafting. If I'm going to kill it, which I can, because for many reasons, because they're annoying, little animals, I should feed it first and then slaughter it. The reason is you get a lot of meat and pelts if you do that. This goes for other similar animals. If I just kill it and don't feed it first, I get like 1 meat. It does not pay off. If you do feed it first, you basically pay for a new one. The price of a new one. They're rather expensive. You pay for a new one by doing that. So always remember, feed it before you do anything. You have to, for animals, you generally have to feed them like once every 1.5 days or so. Otherwise they get hungry and or sick. Now, the reason I have so many of these is because I was trying to get a male one. Apparently, it's very difficult to get male yatas. You only get females for the most part. I do have 2 male ones. Those are the ones with the stripes on them. The reason I want 2 male ones, and the reason I've been slaughtering countless yatas, trying to free up space for more of them, that has a chance to become a female or a male. It's a random chance when they grow up. You can't see it until then. Is that sometimes after you feed them, let's see if we are in luck. We probably are not. There we go. We were not in luck. Sometimes after you feed them, you will get an icon where it basically makes them a bit randy. And when they do get randy, or that's an old word, why am I using that? Anyways, let's try with this one. These are my only 2. I'm going to slaughter a few of the other yatas just to make room for more males. They can impregnate other yatas, and if they do, you have a chance to get yata babies. They can turn into rare mounts and other such things. It's the same thing with polar bears, for example. So I'm not going to go through this whole process now, but I will kill a yata just for fun. Feed it and kill it instead of shearing it. If you shear it first, you'll also only get 1 meat. And haka! There we go, 18 meat. Vendor price of 2 gold 21 just for the meat, which is nearly enough to cover the price of a yata baby at the vendor. And some pelts, which if I sell it on the auction house, it pretty much exactly rounded up to what a yata baby costs. I'll kill 1 more. I don't like them. They cost me a lot of stress and pain, these things. Oh, no, not sure. One thing when you shear them, and this works the same with vegetables and trees and pretty much anything you grow, is that you have a little bit of a chance to get like a rare version of that. So if you cut down a tree, you can get a rare bark or like a pine cone or something. If I shear a yata, after I feed it, mind you, I have a chance to get like a special yata fur instead of just a regular yata fur. And this special yata fur is very, very valuable because it's rare and it's used for different crafting things. Alright. Same thing with like this cotton. I could get like special cotton. I have a certain chance when they're done growing in 1 hour and 40 minutes that I get like a special cotton. Same with rice. You can get like a glossy rice or like a shiny onion or whatever. Everything has a rare version of it, and all of those rare versions are really expensive. So production lines again, just to remind you, like my friend Furco over here, Gildy, is growing all sorts of weird things. He's always like a few steps ahead of me in production of strange things. You can see he's growing not like a huge amount of yatas like I am, but instead he has a sheep and a goat. And the reason he has these 2, well, he's trying to get these 2 to mate, obviously. But the reason he has the sheep and the goat is because the fur of those 2 together makes a special type of yarn that can be used for fishing line, or whatever it's called. Whatever it is that you put like on the fishing pole. This guy, let's see, female blizzard bear and male blizzard bear, so he's trying to mate these 2. Once you have 2 of each, you could actually, in reality, get rid of the rest and just chance on that, but I'm trying to get more and more. I really want to. I haven't actually had them mate yet, but I know it's been done. Some people in the guild has done it. That pretty much sums up the video. It's already way longer than I intended, but this is a complicated subject. There's way more to be said about it, and I wish I could talk about it all now, but you'll have to come chat with us either on the stream, twitch.tv/observer, the YouTube videos. Check out the playlist where this is written, or not written really, I'm tired. Shown. Or, as I keep recommending, come and visit us on Obzzarvatory.com if you want to be part of a friendly community and discuss this and other games with us. There was one last thing I wanted to mention. Ah yes, taxes. Remember to pay them. The taxes, as soon as you built your farm, the first one, very easy to build. The second, like the larger scarecrow, you have to actually, and we'll go through this in the house building video, but you have to actually have like a lumber pack to add to it and a bit of lumber in your inventory as you build it. It will say on the description of the scarecrow design when you have it. The way your taxes are paid instantly as you build it, it costs a bit of money to build as well. You'll have a mailbox. You will get mail from the lord of whichever zone you're building it in. So, Glaneur Forest weekly tax, 2 crowns weekly tax. Those are the 2 places I have my houses. This one is expensive. It costs 15 gold. I have to pay it through the mail. And I paid it like 5 days too late. So, bang, it will be more expensive, or I will get another one next time. If I paid once, you have to pay it once a week. If you don't, you still have a 2-week grace period afterwards. So it won't disappear, but after that time it will become vulnerable. People can destroy it and take your farm and everything, and you'll be very sad. But yeah, that's it. That's all we have time for now. No, there was one more thing. Oh, I almost forgot. It's the best part. So you remember this guy, the tractor, right? Okay, so the tractor used not very fast. You can fuel it up. It'll go faster. It'll actually go quite fast. Faster than a donkey. Faster than a regular donkey anyway. To do that, to get the extra speed on it, you have to have fuel. The way you make fuel is, first of all, you need, well, it's basically biodiesels. You have to have this scarecrow farm. It's under husbandry gear. It's not there. It's under farming. Eco-friendly fuel. You need hay bales and cow manure. Now you'd think like every cow shits. Not in this game, unfortunately. So the hay bales you get from, for example, barley bundles. You get like rare drops, which is hay bales. So those are easy to get. The other thing you need is cow manure, and as not all cows shit, you have to buy a special cow. Cow. There we go. This is my special cow, Windy, named after one of my guildies, and it serves as a mount, if you wish. Not a particularly good mount, but a mount nonetheless. Its abilities is this. Oh, look at that. Some lovely cow manure, which you have to pick up. And faint from the smell. And that'll give you a bit of cow manure. And now you can go over to your farmer's workstation and actually have to do this. Not there. And I can combine it into eco-friendly fuel. Lovely eco-friendly fuel. This special cow you can buy on Mirage Island. It costs a couple of Gilda stars. Not very much, is relatively cheap. There we go, but you won't have that tractor until very late in the game, because it's really expensive and difficult to make, and you need thunderstruck logs. Alright guys, see you around, hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!